Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing the Doctor Who tag, which is basically a video in which I answer a set amount of questions and which will give you a basic idea of what kind of maybe Doctor Who fan I am, I guess, maybe, or what I obviously like or dislike about Doctor Who depending on what the questions are. I have my notebook over here which will have obviously the questions, so yeah, I'll answer those as such. And also apparently I have to say who I want to pass this sort of tag thing on to, apparently, so yeah, that'll be interesting. As my friend over at Nerd Central, he did the Doctor Who tag ages ago, very early on in his YouTube channel lifespan, I guess, and passed it on to me, and I've just never got around to doing it until now, obviously. But yeah, first question is, who is your favourite Doctor? Well, for me, it'd have to be Tom Baker. I know it's a very generic answer, but I just adore his Doctor, really. New series, it'd probably be either Peter Capaldi or Chris Eccleston, as I feel like they've both got this sort of gravitas and this acting ability to bring such depth and weight and, again, gravitas to the role, you know, without making it feel out of character as well. Like, you know, and I just adore both their Doctors for different reasons, you know, both of which are very dark iterations of the Doctor since the show's come back, or more darker ones on the face of it. I feel like they're the more darker Doctors on the face, or on the front, and then the sort of nicer on the inside, whereas it's vice versa with David and Matt Smith. You know, they're more sort of light-hearted, nice, and sort of approachable and happy-go-lucky on the outside, and darker on the inside. So yeah, favourite Doctor, Classic Who, Tom Baker. Favourite Doctor, or one or two of the Doctors that I like in the new series would probably be Christopher Eccleston or Peter Capaldi. Overall, number one, Tom Baker. There are others that I do like as well for different reasons. I like them all, really, for different reasons. Question 2, what is your favourite Doctor Who story? This is going to change from day to day, you know, depending on what mood. Classic Who, for me, it'd have to be Robot, because I just adore that story. You know, it's quite a big story in the mythology of Doctor Who. You know, it really solidifies Doctor Who coming back to being able to be a sci-fi, you know, show over being obviously Earthbound, like the beginning part of Jon Pertwee's era. You know, and Tom just sets it, you know, sets the tone and the new direction. You know, one minute you're kind of steering this sort of direction with Jon Pertwee and stuff, and then Tom gets there and the TARDIS is able to go places, and boom, you know, we set and over all the way over this direction where you didn't expect to go. And I think that's just amazing, you know, that Doctor Who took that risk. You know, they were on this trajectory and going this direction, and then boom, they went all the way over that area where no one expected them to go. So, you know, Robot from classic Doctor Who, and maybe New Who, Flatline, because the more I watch that story, the better it gets, really. It has its flaws, but it is one of the highlights of the new series, I think, in recent years anyway, probably since Capaldi's been the Doctor anyway. I think that's one of the better stories under his tenure so far. But as I say, you ask me this question tomorrow, and it could be, you know, best classic Doctor Who story. It'd be, I don't know, Inferno, Terror of the Autons, you know, the War Games, or any of those stories, because they're all brilliant. And again, vice versa with the new series ones, it could be any of the other new series episodes. So yeah, question number 3, who's your favourite companion? Classic series, probably maybe Ace, maybe Leela, maybe there's a lot of characters that I like. I don't think I like one companion. Much like with the Doctor, I like all of them for different reasons for the most part. You know, I think there's only maybe very few that I really hate. Like Clara from Series 7 Part 1, Rose from Series 2, I really hate. I don't like Tegan that much, but she's apparently better in Big Finish, but I've not experienced her in Big Finish. So yeah, maybe Sarah, Leela, Ace, Donna, Martha's good, Rose in Series 1, Clara in Series 9 and 8. So, you know, there are very good Doctor Who companions. I can't pick just one. I don't think there is one that I've always just identified with. I think for nostalgic purposes, maybe Rose from Series 1, because she was my first Doctor Who companion who introduced me to the show in that respect. But, you know, Tom Baker, I didn't grow up with his Doctor, and yet I still identify with his Doctor the most. So, and that's why I like him the most for that reason, mainly. Question number 4, what was the first Doctor Who story you watched? Interestingly enough, it wasn't actually Rose, it was The Empty Child, on like Gold or Watch or whatever channel it was at the time. I distinctly remember my brother being like, oh, there's Doctor Who on this other channel, and me being like, the idiot that I was at the time, being all like, ugh, no, I don't want to watch that garbage, I want to watch Star Wars. I was like that. I was actually saying I prefer to watch Star Wars, which in retrospective blows my mind, you know. And it was The Phantom Menace as well. It wasn't like one of the good Star Wars films. It was one of the shittier ones that a lot of people say is crap. But yeah, I think it was weird. So yeah, I was watching Phantom Menace. My brother insisted we watch something else. We watched it. I was kind of very hesitant and very reluctant to like the episode. And then by the end, I was just like, oh my god, that was amazing, you know? My mind was blown. You know, something as dark and eerie as The Empty Child, but aimed for a young person and not dumbed down for a young person either, really, I think, spoke to me as a child at that time. You know, everything else felt very much, everyone else who approached me, it always felt like they were sort of condescending and speaking down to me, and Doctor Who didn't do that, and I loved it for it, you know, and I think that's why I've always had a massive passion and respect for the show, you know, because I know what it can be when it's done right, you know, and it's very important that it does do it right, because again, I hope that sort of thing happens again, you know, that it doesn't ever speak down to kids, and recently I do feel like it does probably speak down to kids. Question number 5, what is your favourite series or era of Doctor Who? Fun fact, my favourite era is probably the beginning of Jon Pertwee, which is mainly the Unit Earthbound era. I like the era. I'm not a massive fan of the format of the episodes though, you know, like the 6-parters and the really long and, you know, drawn out stories. Don't get me wrong, The Sea Devils is a superb story. I really like that, even though it's really long. I like Inferno, Doctor Who and the Silurians. I haven't watched it in a long time, but what I mean is, like, I feel like I need a whole afternoon to watch that from beginning to middle to end, whereas with, say, a Tom Baker 4-parter, I can quickly sort of just get that done in a more, you know, I've come home after college or school and I can get that done before, I don't know, 9 or something, whereas, as I say, with a massive Jon Pertwee one, it takes a lot longer. But that era is very distinctive and very good, and the irony is they did it because of budget restraints and stuff like that, but actually it was really effective. You know, you've got brilliant Brigadier, Liz Shaw is superb, and I really think she was underrepresented and underused, and I love her companion, you know, absolutely adore her and love her character, you know, and she worked well with Jon Pertwee for the little on-screen time they had together, unfortunately. What else? Series, from the new series, it'd probably be Series 1 for nostalgic reasons, and because I feel like it's so tight a series, you know, everything feels so interconnected, very loosely but very well paced, and the chemistry and everything gels well with each other. Not feels very, you know, like out of place or out of touch with one another, you know, cast wise and design wise and story wise is what I mean. So it all fits perfectly. So yeah, Series 1 for a series, and era would be the beginning of Jon Pertwee's era, the Unit Earthbound era. What is your favourite pre or post regeneration? post-regeneration, Deep Breath, I love that story, I've liked that story quite a bit, and that, and I can't think of a story pre-regeneration. I don't know. I honestly can't think of a story off the top of my head. What is your favourite TARDIS desktop theme? Probably the Ninth Doctor one. Specifically the Ninth Doctor one, as I love how it's lit and shot and stuff, you know. I love the sort of organic feel and also the mechanicalness at the centre. You know, the centre column or the centre control panels look like they're coupled together and it is machinery, but also with the coral it gives this sort of, it's alive, but then the grill flooring, again, this sort of more, it is still a spaceship type feel, you know. I like the balance between the two, you know. It's sort of alive, but it's also a machine, you know, and that, so it's like 50-50, you know. So it's not fully sort of saying, yes, the TARDIS is fully alive and it's a sentient being and everything, you know, because some people don't like that idea and some people do. And then again, for those who don't like the idea, it's got that sort of, it is a machine still sort of thing. And the moving of the central column, I think they tried to do that in the classic series, but it's perfected in the new series with the Ninth Doctor TARDIS. I like the lighting because it's very neon greenish with the columns, and it's a lot darker as well. Darker lit, whereas when David comes in, it is so brightly lit that it's ridiculous, you know. And by that point as well, I think as a kid, I was kind of like, meh, okay, I've seen it, you know, whereas, you know, from beginning, middle and end of Series 1, I was always like, oh my god, this is amazing, you know, I'd always get that rush, whereas by the end of David's era, I was kind of like, yeah, that's the TARDIS, and you barely even see it as much as well as in Series 1, I think, because David as well runs around it so quickly, you only get very quick camera shots there of him in the TARDIS, whereas, as I say, with Chris, it's a lot more methodical and a lot more slow pace in the TARDIS anyway, so I feel like it feels more like a home as well, is what I'm getting at, or a home vibe anyway. Question number 8, and the last question, what is your favourite villain / monster? Villain, the Master, obviously. Monster, it'd probably be the Daleks. I adore the Daleks, and yeah, Daleks, and then probably villain, Master, as, yeah, that makes sense really. But yeah, those are all of the questions for the Doctor Who tag. Person who I'd maybe tag in this video would be TJ Productions, first person that really came to my head. So yeah, now he apparently has to do this video. Whether or not he will, I don't know, but yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, this has been fun, and thanks for watching. Comment, rate and subscribe.